Hello and welcome to another episode on Rosecast. Welcome to another random on Rosecast, and this random is going to be a sum up of how May has been so far for me. And welcome to another random. And I don't know how has May been so far for you. Well, May has been quite an interesting month, and I'm going to give a little bit rundown of some certain things. And as random has always been random, maybe other things are going to come in. Randoms are not always very predictable because they are randoms. So, with that being said, thank you for being on today's episode, and let's ride in. So now, the month of May was the month of 30 days of intentionally seeking God through purposeful prayers. And wow, I thank God for the opportunity to have done this. Honestly, like I've said multiple times, in other spaces and probably even on this space, I've said it somewhere earlier, that I was very hesitant to do this. And I just felt the way I felt was like maybe most people would think I'm doing too much because I have a blog, I post YouTube, I have this podcast, and what else do? I paint, like I share a lot of things that I do, and people in my community sometimes feel like you are over the place and you are a doctor. I make recipes, even though my food blog has been on hiatus for such a long time. Like, I've not really shared much. In fact, since this year began, I don't think I shared anything very meaningful. If I did, probably they are not up to 5. So I've just begun to start feeling a bit weird about that, because most people that have reached out to ask me, girl, how do you handle all this stuff? They've come in a very nice way, like a complimentary way. So it's supposed to make me feel good. It has never been, to a great extent, I've never felt people did it in a way to like maybe make me feel like feel bad or say it in a negative way. It has been a positive input. However, sometimes I just go back and I ask myself, like, am I overdoing everything? Am I showing too much? Am I showing off? Those kind of thoughts come in. And I remember either on this podcast I talked about doing too much or trying too hard, and on my blog too I think I talked about something regarding that. And if I'm not mistaken, even a vlog topic has covered that. And I was just beginning to feel uncomfortable, and I was like, God, if I said I want to start this, won't people feel that I'm doing too much? And I battled with that thought for so long, because as much as possible, I just wanted to make sure that I still give a balanced output. I still want to make sure that whatever content I'm sharing, they are balanced, and I also want to make sure that my intentions are clear. I always try to check my intentions on whatever I'm doing. And after battling with the thought for so long and just reminiscing on the previous times when I obeyed something God laid on my heart to do, and at the end of everything I see that it was great that I did it, I just closed my eyes and just like, okay, whatever, I don't care about these thoughts, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And that brings me to say that sometimes the greatest hindrance to doing what you're supposed to do is yourself, is the thoughts that come into your head. Sometimes people don't even suggest those things, but because of our own deficiencies and the thoughts we make up in our head, we already think that it's going to fail. And if you're someone that battles with anxiety in any way, if you're someone that has self-esteem issues, if you're someone that's experienced some negative things like regarding your image and regarding your gifts or what you do, or you've not really gotten much compliments, or people don't even give positive reviews to you, you can't, those thoughts can overpower you if you're not careful. And sometimes even when you receive good compliments, if you are not still careful and you allow negative thoughts to barrage your head, it can hinder you to do what you're supposed to do. So I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm going to start, where am I going to share this stuff? And like when I talked about this earlier before the beginning of this session, I felt okay, Telegram group would be the best space to share. And before trying to start 30 days intentionally seeking God, I felt, let me water the ground a bit with something that would make people feel a bit more let's say related. I'm trying to look for the right word. And instead of starting off right with 30 days intentionally seeking God, we talked about domestic violence on the group first. And even though not up to 10 people showed up, like 5 people showed up, and yet the conversation was just beautiful. I think 5 people, including myself, if I'm not wrong. And the conversation was beautiful. Like, I really enjoyed the conversation. And at that point, I even felt better that we were just 5, because it was easier for me to control, like feel a little bit personal. I could interact easily. I'm not saying I don't want more people to join, but I'm just saying for the first time, later on I was just grateful that we were few, and at least I had a first time experience of what it felt like to coordinate such on Telegram. So after that meeting, a few days after, then 30 days of intentional seeking God began, and wow, God remained so faithful. And on this podcast, I'm going to share with you more of that, and by God's grace, other things. Now, mind you, this is not supposed to, like, it's not supposed to be a big deal. Let me complete my sentence. Actually, I just thought to myself, like, girl, why does this feel like a big deal? It's not like as if you've not been sharing, you've not been like sharing a lot, like content wise. Like, why were you feeling so strange? And that is just so strange. Like, sometimes even for things that we are not supposed to feel awkward about or shy, you begin to start feeling awkward and shy, and it can be a very strange feeling. It's just like sometimes, like the first time I tried the Facebook Live, I was very shy. I felt so uncomfortable. I had like more than 5 takes, if I'm not mistaken, up to almost 10 takes. I gave up like the first day I tried. The second day, I struggled before I could do a live. And I was like, girl, you've been sharing vlogs, like you've been putting the camera, your camera, and talking to the phone, to the camera, and putting it off for the public to see. How could you be shy about a live? And I was just like, I couldn't comprehend why that. Just like sometimes I could feel very expressive and confident and bold to talk in public, but sometimes I could feel very shy. And I just think it's just the interesting aspect of just being a human being. Not every time things may go according to flow. So for this session, it was not the first time I'm doing like 30 days of intentionally seeking God. The first episode or the first edition was in 2021, but that was a blog series, and it was a daily blog series for 30 days. Yes, and I actually gave a review or a summary on this platform. I gave a summary on that. Start 30 days of intentionally seeking God. But this was going to be a Telegram channel. I don't know. There was nothing supposed to be very, very different about that. However, I was still trying to navigate how was I going to share the prayer. Since it was just prayers, we were going to pray together. After talking to a friend, I had some ideas that I had concerning it. And then I realized that Telegram had a space for live stream. By the way, see, don't sleep on Telegram. Telegram is actually such a good app. I don't know, it's such a helpful app, and it uses very less data. In fact, their live stream does not consume a lot of data. They use very little data. And I realized that the live stream could be recorded, and people could you had an option to record only audio, you record a video, and like it was just interesting. So what I then did was, the first day I tried recording the live stream, but I did not save the recording. So I did a live stream but did not save the recording. Later I learned, I corrected myself, and the whole session was recorded and shared for those that were not part of it. Now, they were not part of the live stream. Now, honestly, at some point I felt weird. I was like, people are going to be listening to you pray. That felt weird. But I already had that conversation earlier with a friend who just like said, who also, like say, agreed that would be a good idea, so that for those that weren't part of the live stream, it will be easier for it to be like they'll be able to just have that feel of being a live stream. And also having a live stream will make the prayers a little bit more communal compared to just putting a prayer like the prayer point and asking people to pray about it. You don't really know if they are participating or part of it. But when it is live stream and prayer is going on, you can see those that are participating, and later on more people can listen to it and be part of it. But I would confess, I actually felt weird at some point about that, but that was what was done, and I thank God for the whole session. Now, like I was saying about Telegram is a really good app. Like, I know people have complained about spamming, but at least for this session that I had, it was cost effective. It is free. It uses less data, and the recorded the recorded sessions of the live streams have good quality, and I think that is actually a very good thing to look at. So during this live stream, there were people that were actually consistent. I had some people that were consistent from the first day to the last day, and some that tried to participate at some point but probably could not keep up. And it was just a unique experience. In fact, it was just a unique experience. I'm just going to talk more about that as we go on. So, I remember there was a particular Sunday that the network was so bad. My network just went off, and it was so awkward because people were online. People were like, what's going on? Like, it was just like a strange experience. I waited for hours, and I waited for like 2 hours, going to midnight, and it wasn't working. So I had to then do a voice recorded prayer session and then send it to the group, send it to the Telegram channel for those that weren't that, since nobody was able to be really part of the session. So that was the only time. And after that, I realized that I had to start being intentional about praying against internet interruptions. And by God's grace, there were no there were no internet interruptions for a very long time. So I really thank God for that. Also, I just thank God because of the prayer points. I wrote some of them down long time ago. Like, I wrote some of them months ago before even the session started. And then as the time was approaching and I was trusting God for more prayer points, God just laid more prayer points in my heart. And there were Bible passages that backed up the prayer points. However, I realized that as God was leading me, that the prayer points were coming at the right time. Like, the prayer point that was scheduled for days, because I tried my best to write out the prayer points quite earlier than the days for the prayer. So I did like half of the days quite early, then the remaining half afterwards. And all these were done before the actual date. So I was having a very unique experience of having the same experience of the prayer point of the day. So, like, on the day that I'm having a particular prayer point, I will have an experience during the day that highlights that prayer point, and it just made me realize that, wow, this prayer is coming at the right time. And the different weeks had like very unique points to address, and I just want to thank God for that. It just made me feel like, wow, it just made me feel like, girl, you're in sync, and you were like, you're just in sync. And I'm just really grateful to God for the privilege. Also, one of the things I was so grateful about, or I am so grateful about concerning this, is that my days, getting to the mid of May, my days became very hectic, and that 30 minutes that was allotted with some extra minutes that I would have spent on my own as well were really lifeguards. Like, probably if I didn't have that time figured out, there would have been some days I would have gone without having such a length of prayer. And for me, I was just grateful for myself. Like, I was just grateful for myself that I obeyed. What I mean is that those prayer times just were just like lifeguards for me. And probably if the session was not on, I may have not been able to squeeze out that time, because maybe in my head I'll be like, oh, I have a lot of things to do. But because I knew I had a commitment to keep up, I knew that no matter how hectic my day was, no matter how tired I was, I had to keep up to that time. And I'm grateful to God for that, and I'm trusting God that would continue. There was even a day, because of how stressed out I was, I slept off. And to a great extent, I'd been trying my best to keep up to time, but that day I slept off for more than 10 minutes past time. And I just woke up and I realized that some time had gone, and I had to extend the time to 10 o'clock instead of 9:30. So I want to thank God for the opportunity. That there were days that I felt like, I don't want to do this, like I'm not in the mood. But because I knew I had a commitment, and this was 30 days, and I was not planning to ruin that 30 days, I just had to get up, and regardless of how I was feeling, just make sure the prayer went on. And in all, I just thank God. And also, I want to thank God for the testimonies. Some people share their testimonies regarding some prayer points, and I was very humbled by that. And I myself experienced the goodness of also the session. So in all, this time has been a unique time for me, and I just thank God for how He took control. I just thank God for how He just helped me throughout all this, and I also want to thank everyone that was part of this session. I just thank God for you all. I thank God for everything. Like, time again, this is another confirmation to me that when God asks me to do something, I should go ahead and do it, trusting Him that He's going to take control of everything, even when I'm not very sure. And I'm still going to put that out to anyone listening to this podcast, that if God is leading you to do something, to take a leap, please trust that He's going to help you through it. Don't put so much attention on your weakness. Don't put so much attention on your awkwardness. Don't put so much attention of what people will say. What has God said? Just go for it. He's going to keep you true, and at the end of the day, you'll be glad you obeyed. So by God's grace, I.S.G.T.P.P, which is the Telegram channel where this was done, we will still have upcoming topics, and this is just a prayer session that happened in the month of May. So nothing else came up in the month of May. There was just much focus on the prayer point or on the prayer session. So as God be having it, by God's grace, in the month of June, we should be having another very interesting conversation. By the way, like I said, or if you've not heard that, I.S.G.T.P.P is going to be an interactive environment. So the prayer session, I had to coordinate it because that would have helped a bit more with consistency. But with topics that would be brought up on the channel, it's going to be a conversational topic where everybody will really give their points. However, reading the guidelines of the channel will make a lot of sense, because if anyone goes against that, the person will be removed. But I'm hoping that will not happen. However, it's going to be a conversational place where, as Christians, your points will be given concerning topic matter, and then we'll all look at it and we'll all see what we can gain. So it's a place where we can learn from each other. Yes, after every topic, I'll possibly just come in and balance out all that has been said, or if there's a guest that's around, the guest will help with that. So I'm trusting that hopefully there will be guests featuring in time, like in future time. So if you've not joined the channel, the link attached to this podcast platform, look at I.S.G.T.P.P. There's a button for you to subscribe to it. You can easily subscribe to it and quickly see what it's about, go through all that has been done, also go through the previous conversation that was done in the month of April on domestic violence, and see what was talked about. Trustfully, I'm really excited about the topic, and I'm trusting that we'll do in the month of June. I'm very excited about it, and I have actually talked with the person that I'm hoping would share with us, and I'm excited. I'm trusting God it will pull through. I'm trusting. There's no date that has been fixed, but I'm trusting God that it will pull through. Now, I said this was going to be a random, but it appeared to be that I focused on talking about 30 days of intentional seeking God. So I'll just add a little bit here. Rosecast did not share a lot, but O.R.A was shared, and I wanted to go check out that podcast, which was the podcast before this particular one. So go check it out. It's a bit light. It's not that long, and I'm sure you are going to really learn something from it. I'm trusting God for the month of June. I don't know how it's going to be for the month of June, in terms of podcast, in terms of frequency, because I'm actually entering another very stressful phase of my life. So I do not know how that would affect putting up podcasts. But if there are no podcasts put up, just realize that I told you, but I'm going to make efforts to do so. By the way, there are tons of podcasts, there are tons of topics, and I don't know if you've listened to all of them. The amatured ones, the good ones, all of them put them together. I'm sure that they would bless you as you go through to listen. And if there's nothing here for you to check, the link attached to this podcast platform includes my blog, my vlog. You can go check all those places as well to munch up on all that has been shared there. So with that being said, I hope to see you on the 1st of June to receive your congratulatory note. Yes, but God has been helping me that every month, every first podcast of the month, you get a congratulatory note. So please, I hope you'll be available for that. And like I already said, I do not know how June will be for Rosecast, but as God wills and as God allows, hopefully there will be more that will be shared. Like I said in O.R.A, I was like, there's a topic that I really want to share, and I'm trusting that God will help me concerning that topic so that it can be shared appropriately. So with that being said, please stay safe. Please do stay safe wherever you are. May the grace of God be with you. May your life continue to have meaning, and I just hope that everything that has been shared here, one way or other, you must have gotten a form of just relax, that had made you relax and anything. But if you have, If you have any reservation, any corrections, or any comments that would really help, please do not hesitate to share that. The link attached to this podcast platform, there is a contact button. Just click that and send in your responses. And if you know me on any social media platform, if you're a friend listening to this, then just send me a DM or send me a message. I'm going to read it through and respond appropriately. So I was thinking in my head, should I add a song since it's a random, like I often said? No, I would not. If you want to listen to any of my random songs, go check the last random and get that random song. But thank you for being here. And until next time on Rosecast, stay safe and God bless. Bye bye.